if you can hear that noise, there's a woodpecker up there, and he's making a home for the future out of my home. So it's something we're going to have to deal with. Oh, he's going to town. Hey, it's Scott. Good morning and welcome to the X-Fed Homestead. Today we have an unanticipated problem. There was a woodpecker pecking on the side of the house this morning early, and I thought I heard one yesterday, and it looks like he's been up there doing some work and building himself a nest. So we're gonna have to take care of that. Had a lot of other things planned for today, but can't have animals putting a hole in the side of my house. So we're gonna take care of that problem right now. So let's get to it. Oh, there it is. It's a beautiful day. And right there, right in the corner, just in the shadow, is a nice 1.5-inch round hole from our woodpecker. Well, we're gonna have to do a little something about that. Well, there are a couple things I'm going to do here to work on this woodpecker situation. The first thing is a trick that my folks used to use on their house, and it worked fairly well, where you take aluminum foil like this and you cut little feathers in it, and so it blows around in the breeze. It's not a tough product at all, but it kind of scares away the woodpeckers, and they used to put it on the corners of their house during the season when woodpeckers would come out and make nests. So that's one thing I'm going to do. The other thing I'm going to do is fill it up with a plastic wood sealant. So this is like a Bondo plastic wood, and the product I'm using is from DAP. So I'm going to plug up that hole that's up there, and hopefully that'll be the end of it until the next time some crazy woodpecker tries to make a nest in my house. So let's give those two things a go. You can see this flutter in the wind. I'm going to put that right below the hole. So let's putty up that hole now. Well, I took the plastic wood and put it inside the hole there, and I didn't quite fill it all the way. I'm going to let it dry for a while, and then I'll put a second application on just so I can smooth it out and sand it, and then I'll have to paint it some other time. But pretty quick project, went real easy. I'll get the other coat on later today, and that should do it. Well, it's later in the day. I'm going to go up the ladder again and check out the progress of the hole up there. I put it on pretty thick, so I don't know if it'll all be dry, but if it is, if the plastic wood is dry, I'll give it a little bit of a smoother coat up there and see if we can fix it up so we can paint it. Well, that looks like it worked, and we'll get it painted tomorrow. Well, it looks like things have dried pretty good up there. I think we'll get up there and do some sanding. Well, it's the next day. I just went up the ladder and checked out the woodpecker hole, and I thought I'd get a coat of paint on that. I have my trim paint here that I had waiting down cellar for something like this to happen, and so I'm going to get that up there today. I just got to work on it, and I'll pop this thing open. It's funny, you do projects, and for me, I don't know about you, but for me, I think about all the people I've been influenced by in my renovations, carpentry, home repair journey. Mostly my grandparents, my wife's grandfather, and my dad, of course. And I got this from my wife's grandfather, and Grandpa and I, we did a lot of work together, especially on my first house for a number of years. He was an old man, but he still liked to work a bit. And he's the one who talked about watering down paint. So whenever we'd paint, he'd say, water the paint down. It'll go on smoother. I said, oh, okay. And he'd say, no, add some more water. You got to make it last. And while we used to work, he'd say, sometimes it'd be all water, which I thought was pretty funny. He was emphasizing getting the most out of your can of paint. But that's what they did. Back years ago when they were poor and trying to conserve money, and they had to make the paint last a little longer. So, and I kind of understand that. I did a paint job with my dad a number of years ago. We were painting a shed. It was my younger boy's Eagle Scout project, and Dad liked to goop on the paint. My father, God bless him, didn't have a lot of patience for things, and thought the harder you worked at something, the quicker it got done, and he liked to get things done quick. And so he was getting up in age, and he said, well, I'll help you. And it was a hot sunny day, and I didn't want him working outside in the hot sun, but you couldn't stop him. And so we got out there to paint the shed, and I gave him the paint. A gallon should have been more than enough. And he's throwing paint on there and talking about, oh, this building really sucks up the paint. You know, it really takes a lot of paint. And I'm thinking it should take a gallon. But of course, I ended up buying another gallon. And Dad asked me for some clean gloves at the beginning of the project. And he put these gloves on. They were brand new. They were just brand new gloves. In fact, I got a pair. This is what they look like. All right, brand new gloves. These are the exact same gloves. So, and then by the time he was done, they had red paint all over them. And I'll show you a picture here of what they looked like. I thought it was hysterical. And I put those gloves, they'd only been used one time, and I put those gloves up on the wall there. I nailed them right to one of the storage cases up there and kept them there to remind me of my father, because I knew someday he'd be gone. And I'd look at those things and laugh. And now that he's gone a couple years ago, I look at those things and I laugh. And I think about him when I'm mixing paint like this or getting ready to do a painting project. It does make me chuckle to look up there and see those glasses every time. So we're looking pretty good here. I've got the trim color. I've got a 1.5 inch, 2-inch brush. And the one thing, since I'm going up the ladder, this is something I really like. It's just a twisted up piece of metal for putting on your can of paint and hooking it right to the ladder. Really helps you keep both hands on the ladder and aids in the safety. So let's just take another sip. I've already sanded, so now we can just get to prepping that spot where the woodpecker was. It's a lot of prep for not much work. But that's the way painting always is. Well, that seems to be it for this project. It was pretty quick and easy, but getting up on the ladder always has a certain sense of importance to me. I'm going to leave that silvery aluminum foil up there fluttering in the wind to keep the woodpecker away. But I did think I saw him yesterday, and I think I heard him banging at the dead tree in the backyard, which is definitely where he's supposed to be, rather than banging on the side of my house. So I hope he can make a good home back there. And my home is back to the way it was a few days ago. So that's what's important to me. Anyway, this is Scott for the XFed Homestead. We'll see you next time.